I now give the floor to the representative of Greece.
Excellence, Monsieur le Ministre.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Thank you for being with us today to attend this very important debate that you're presiding over.
Peace cannot be achieved through violence. It can only be attained through understanding and negotiations. Yet, a political understanding of the Palestinian question remains elusive, as we are only 1 month away from the upcoming June conference and the prospects of a ceasefire deal are still unclear. The June conference presents a unique opportunity to revitalize the political process and pave the way towards the implementation of the two-state solution according to the relevant Security Council resolutions, while recognizing the right of Israel to exist side by side with the Palestinians in peace. We support the efforts by France and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and sincerely thank them for their work and their leadership in promoting a sustainable day after for the region. Having said that, we cannot but stress the importance for the fruition of the negotiations with the aim of achieving a permanent sustainable ceasefire while securing the release of all hostages. We commend the mediators, Egypt, Qatar and the United States for their tireless efforts. Undoubtedly, a peaceful future in the Middle East cannot be established through violence and the forced displacement of people. It is also clear that Hamas cannot have any future in Gaza. The way towards peace should be based on international law while ensuring the leading role of a reformed Palestinian Authority, being the only credible and moderate alternative with the assistance of the international community. The European Union has exercised critical leadership in this regard by announcing a $1.8 billion support package for the Palestinians. We also commend the PA's readiness to continue its ambitious reform agenda. Likewise, the Arab Plan for Gaza, as presented by Egypt, is a constructive proposal. Greece supports this initiative as a good starting point towards planning reconstructions, and we reiterate that Hamas should have no role in the day after, as it continues to be a serious obstacle for sustainable peace. On the humanitarian front, the ongoing hostilities to the Gaza Strip has led to a significant increase of the death toll, leaving behind hundreds of Palestinians dead, thousands wounded, and internally displaced, all in acute need of food, water, medical supplies, and shelter. At the same time, the hostages and their families continue to live in a daily agony and uncertainty. Greece has repeatedly condemned the October 7 terrorist attacks perpetrated by Hamas and the cruel treatment of the hostages who remain in Hamas captivities. All hostages must be treated humanely and immediately and unconditionally released. It is evident that the humanitarian blockade further deprives people of the means for survival. The unhindered continuous flow of aid at scale into all parts of Gaza, combined with the restoration of the water and electricity systems, constitutes a priority. At the same time, humanitarian workers, medical staff and patients must be protected at all times in accordance with international humanitarian law. Mr. President, the humanitarian security landscape in the rest of the occupied Palestinian territories remains alarming. We are deeply concerned by the closure orders issued by the Israeli authorities against UNRWA schools in East Jerusalem, a decision which threatens the fundamental right of education of hundreds of pupils. UNRWA's role remains pivotal and indispensable. Turning to the West Bank, Greece expresses concern over the increase of settlement activity, the displacements of people from refugee camps, attacks on civilians and civilian infrastructure, demolition and seizure of Palestinian-owned properties, as well as the restricted access of aid groups to refugee camps. The special status quo of Jerusalem and its old city is of particular importance. It must be protected and respected by all and at all times. Its sacred spaces should remain inviolable. All of its communities should enjoy viability. Last but not least, Jordan's special role as custodian of massive and Christian holy sites in Jerusalem must be preserved, as it actively and beneficially contributes to preserving multiculturalism and religious tolerance in the region. Mr. President, in Lebanon, the formation of a new government presents a unique opportunity to restore stability. The new government has demonstrated its readiness to promote essential reforms and finally turn the page for Lebanese to have a new opportunity for peace and prosperity for the benefits of the whole region. This was clearly demonstrated in the recent quadrilateral meeting of the leaders of Greece, France, Cyprus, and Lebanon the past month. Forging strong state institutions, including the Lebanese armed forces, which play a crucial role in the implementation of the ceasefire agreement, is very important. We stand ready to assist the LAF, as the Greek Minister of Defense underscored during his recent visit to Beirut earlier this month. We strongly reaffirm our support for the relevant Security Council resolution and the territorial integrity, sovereignty and political independence of Lebanon, as mentioned in Security Council Presidential Statement of January 15. UNIFIL is key for the restoration of peace and security, and thus Greece will be actively engaged in the discussion of the renewal of its mandate this summer. Mr. President, it has only been a few days since our last meeting in this chamber on the situation in Syria in the presence of Syrian interim foreign minister. As Special Envoy Peterson noted, the political transition in Syria is now at a truly critical juncture. This transition needs to be fully inclusive, Syrian-led and owned, according to the principle of Security Council Resolution 2554, as justice, accountability and respect for international law, including the law of the sea, remains critical. A stable and prosperous Syria is key for the future of the Middle East. In concluding, Mr. President, hope should prevail over violence. The cycle of violence that started on October 7 must finally come to an end so as to open the path for a vision of regional integration and prosperity which would bring concrete benefits to all peoples in the region. I thank you.
I thank the representative of Greece.